Bill Gaither, a name that has echoed through generations. A man whose voice touched millions, whose songs carried faith, hope, and love. His music filled concert halls and churches with an undeniable presence. But no one could have predicted what was about to happen. His final words, a single sentence, would leave the world in shock. For years, Bill had been the heart of gospel music, a guiding force whose lyrics inspired countless souls. Fans had seen him through decades of performances, heartfelt speeches, and personal moments of reflection. Yet on this particular day, something felt different. Whispers about his health had begun circulating, speculation about his future loomed, and an unshakable sense of change was in the air. Still, no one expected what came next. When the news broke, it spread like wildfire. Social media exploded with discussions, theories, and emotions running high. Headlines flashed across television screens. Bill Gaither's final words. What did he mean? Some believed it was a farewell to his career, while others feared it was something far more permanent. Fans from around the world shared their disbelief, their sadness, and their memories of the man who had given them so much through his music. The world held its breath, waiting for answers. What did Bill Gaither mean when he spoke those final words? What had led to this moment? To understand, we must go back to the day it all happened. The day he spoke his final sentence and left the world in stunned silence. It was a day like no other. The auditorium was packed, the air thick with anticipation. Fans had traveled from across the country, eager to see Bill Gaither take the stage once more. Rumors had been swirling, whispers that this might be his final public appearance, but no one wanted to believe them. Bill had always been a pillar of strength, a man whose music carried generations through their darkest and brightest moments. He had faced challenges before, but he always returned, his voice as strong as ever. As the lights dimmed, a hush fell over the crowd. Then, slowly, Bill Gaither stepped onto the stage. He smiled, the same warm smile that had comforted so many over the years, but there was something different in his eyes. He took a deep breath, looking out at the sea of faces before him. Many had tears in their eyes before he even spoke. They could feel it. This moment was special. Then he began to sing. His voice filled the auditorium with the same power and passion as always. Each lyric felt heavier, more meaningful. It was as if he were pouring his very soul into every note. The audience clung to his words, holding on to every sound, knowing deep down that this might be the last time they would hear him perform live. When the song ended, the room erupted into applause. But Bill simply stood there, taking it all in. He reached for the microphone, pausing for a long moment. The silence was deafening. Then, with a calm yet unwavering voice, he spoke a single sentence. And in that moment, everything changed. The audience, the world, nothing would ever be the same again. The room remained completely silent as Bill Gaither gripped the microphone. For a moment, it felt as if time had stopped. The audience, still recovering from the power of his performance, watched with anticipation. Then, in a voice filled with both warmth and finality, he spoke the words that would leave the world in shock. Goodbye forever. The simplicity of the phrase made it all the more haunting. There was no long explanation, no dramatic speech, just those two words, spoken with calm certainty. At first, the audience didn't react. It was as if their minds couldn't fully process what had just happened. Then, a murmur rippled through the crowd. Some gasped. Some whispered. Others sat frozen in their seats, eyes wide with disbelief. What did he mean? Was this a retirement announcement? A farewell to music? Or something even deeper? His tone hadn't carried sadness, nor the excitement of a new beginning. Instead, it was steady, certain, like a man who had made peace with his decision long before speaking it aloud. A few fans near the front row reached out, as if wanting to stop him from leaving, their emotions overwhelming them. Others wiped away silent tears, feeling the weight of the moment before they even fully understood it. Then, without another word, Bill Gaither turned and walked off the stage. No encore. No explanation. Just a quiet exit, leaving behind a crowd of thousands who would never forget the moment they heard his final words. The shockwave from Bill Gaither's words spread faster than anyone could have imagined. Within minutes, social media was flooded with reactions. Fans posted videos of the moment, their voices trembling as they replayed his words over and over. News outlets picked up the story almost immediately. Soon, headlines appeared everywhere. Bill Gaither says, "Goodbye forever." What does it mean? Fans in tears after gospel legend's final words. Is this the end of an era? Speculation ran wild. Some believed he was simply announcing his retirement, a well-earned farewell after decades of shaping gospel music. Others feared something more. Was he sick? Was this a cryptic message about his health? The uncertainty only made the moment heavier. Close friends and family remained silent, offering no immediate answers. The world could only wait, wondering if Bill Gaither's final words truly marked the end of an era, or if there was still more to the story. Longtime collaborators were just as stunned as the fans. Many admitted they had no idea what Bill had meant. Some reached out privately, while others shared their thoughts online. Fellow musicians paid tribute, reminiscing about the man who had inspired them. Messages poured in from around the world, filled with gratitude, confusion, and heartbreak. Meanwhile, those who had been in the audience that night described the experience in vivid detail. Some recalled how his voice wavered slightly before he spoke. Others swore they saw a knowing look in his eyes, as if he had been preparing for this moment for a long time. Theories spread like wildfire. Had he left behind a hidden message? Was this his way of saying farewell to the world entirely? No one had an answer. All they had were those two haunting words, "Goodbye forever," and the silence he had left behind. As the world searched for answers, people began looking back at Bill Gaither's recent appearances, interviews, and personal statements. Had he been hinting at a farewell all along? Was there a deeper meaning behind his final words? Some pointed to his last few concerts, where he had spoken more about legacy, faith, and the importance of cherishing every moment. In one of his final interviews, he had mentioned that he was at peace with whatever comes next, a phrase that now felt eerily significant. Fans analyzed his past lyrics, searching for hidden messages, hoping to understand what he had left unsaid. Then, new details began to emerge. A close friend revealed that Bill had been deeply reflective in recent months, spending more time with family, taking long walks alone, and speaking about how music had given him everything he could ever ask for. Some wondered if he had been silently preparing for this moment, choosing to step away on his own terms rather than letting time decide for him. A letter, reportedly written by Bill himself, surfaced online. Though its authenticity could not be confirmed, its words resonated deeply with those who had followed his journey. It spoke about the beauty of music, the love of his fans, and the importance of knowing when to say goodbye. If it was real, it confirmed what many had feared: this was no ordinary farewell. Still, even with all these clues, the mystery remained. Was this truly the end of his public life? Would he ever return, even for one last message? No one knew for sure. But one thing was certain: Bill Gaither's final words had left an impact that would never fade. In the days that followed, the weight of Bill Gaither's final words settled into the hearts of his fans. Whether "Goodbye Forever" was meant as a farewell to music or something far more profound, one thing was clear: his legacy had become larger than any single moment. His voice, his songs, and his unwavering faith had touched millions, and that would never change. As time passed, people began to reflect not just on his departure, but on the lessons he had left behind. His career had never been about fame or recognition. It had always been about bringing people closer to faith, to hope, and to each other. His songs had been a source of comfort in times of sorrow, a light in moments of darkness. Perhaps, in his own way, Bill had given the world one final gift: the reminder that life is fleeting, that goodbyes are inevitable, but that the impact we leave behind is eternal. Churches and gospel communities held special tribute events, playing his most beloved songs in his honor. Fellow musicians shared personal stories, how he had mentored them, encouraged them, and reminded them that music was more than just sound, it was a calling. His name continued to echo in conversations, in prayers, and in the voices of those who sang his songs long after he had spoken his final words. And so, though Bill Gaither had said, "Goodbye forever," His spirit remained woven into the fabric of gospel music. His voice still played in homes and churches around the world. His lyrics still brought comfort to those who needed them most. In the end, he had not truly left. His legacy, his faith, and his music would live on forever.